Hello, class. This section is on the if, else, if statement compared to the nested decision structure. It tells us that you never have to use the if statement because its logic can be coded with nested if, else statements. So either one you use is not a problem, but there is a disadvantage when you're using the if else as opposed to the if else if. Okay, so it tells us that the the nested if else statement has two particular disadvantages. Okay, when you're debugging the code can grow complex and become difficult to understand. So what happens is you have a if, and then for each if you might have a true or false. Then the next if you may have a true false. And depending on where you're breaking out, you'd have to understand where that logic is going. But if you have a if else if, then that else contains that second if, so that you know you're breaking out of all of that once that logic is true. All right. Secondly, because indenting is important in nested statements, a long series of nested if else statements can become too long to display on the computer screen without having to horizontally scroll to see what all you have coded. Okay, so and like I say, long statements tend to wrap around, so you end up scrolling to the end and coming back around. So that can be confusing when you're trying to debug on a computer. All right, and finally, it says the logic of an if else if statement is usually easier to follow than of a long series of nested if else statements. Now, they're not telling you that it's wrong to do one or the other. They just simply saying that it could be a little simpler if you use the if else if. Okay? So either way you do it, it should work, but you'd have to understand the logic flow. All right? And it says also because all of the clauses are aligned with a if else if, meaning when you every if and the else you have your brackets that aligns up so that you know where that logic falls and what true or false condition it falls under. It makes it better to decode, and your logic is much shorter. Okay, so this in this section.